Hello everybody, welcome to Khatri 3D. So how do I approach poly painting? I won't be covering the complete basics of poly painting because I have already did it. If you haven't seen it, see my beginner guide to ZBrush. The link is below and I have explained some poly painting tips and here and there how to begin with poly painting. The poly painting basics are in this video, on this video, which is the link in the description. Now, how do I paint my characters in ZBrush? Okay, this is something you would need to be an intermediate in texturing. Okay, I use most of the time I use ZBrush for the texturing purposes, for the concept art, and this poly painting we will do. It won't be used in games or animations because there will be no texture on it. It's just poly painting the vertices. Okay, but you can create the textures and export it, but this is another topic. The topic of this video is how do I approach the poly painting using the concept and for the concept purposes, and I use a plugin called Z Colors. Okay, this is a very useful plugin. I have already make it a shortcut here on my UI. If you go to Z plugin, okay, here I've made a shortcut. If you go to Z plugin, you would see a Z color, the last add-on. If you click on it, and you will see this Z color icon, click on it and it picks up the color outside of ZBrush, which means by default if you press C on any of the icons, for example I want to press C here, it picks the yellow color. Okay, and by default it fills the yellow color. By default is giving it a preview the color. Okay, I want to switch to white and it becomes the gray. Okay, by default you can pick any colors in the UI, in the ZBrush software. Okay, in the from the UI, or if you load the texture using the spotlight, you can press C on your keyboard. But what Z color does is for example if you have some pictures outside of your software, it can pick up the color. For example, if I press by default here, it won't pick color because this is a pure ref application, and it picks the color, it doesn't pick the color outside of the software, but Z color add-on does. When you click it, the pop-up option will appear, and you just have, there are two color palettes. Okay, and here are two color palettes, and they both works the same. What I does is that the bottom one, just click and drag, and after click and drag, just make it to any of these colors and just let your mouse or pen go. Okay, and now it picks up the color. What I usually does is I go for a dark, less saturated one in the beginning. This is how I approach the color texturing in ZBrush or overall painting. For example, the dark one is here. Okay, I will let go of my mouse and here click set color. Okay, and it will pick the color and it will set the color. Okay, now the body is selected. What I do is I first of all block the primary colors of the object or the project, the model we are using. So for example, the primary color of this model is the body of the red, and I will click it, make sure I am on the body. I will click it to fill object. Okay, and now I will click alt, I will click and hold alt and tap to the eyeballs, and I will just click and drag again and pick the yellow one. Okay, and click it set color, and it will pick up the colors again, and I'm on the eye, I will click fill object. Okay, now for the tongue I will click and drag, and I will click and drag and hover my mouse over to this less saturated one. Okay, I will use my mouse for this. Okay, the less saturated one, I will hit set color and make sure I'm selecting the tongue, and I will hit fill object. Okay, now the same with the meat of the gums. Okay, I will click and drag and I will switch it to this part of this gum, and I will hit fill object. Okay, set color and fill object. Okay, for the teeth, these are brownish and yellow type. Okay, I will click and drag and pick up the less saturated one, and I will click set color and make sure I'm on the teeth subtool and just click fill object. Okay, now the gums are remaining. I will switch it to click it to switch it to gums. Again, I can pick this color, the tongue, but I just want to use the Z color. Okay, less saturated or less dark value with dark values, and I click set colors, and I just make sure I'm on the gums. I will click fill object. Now that we have blocked out the primary colors, and now I have to switch the materials. I don't usually colors and render on the default basic material. This is by default a basic material, and I usually sculpt on this, but I never color, I never texture or render on it. I use skin shade 4. Okay, skin shade 4 gives a vibrant colors, a vibrant feel. Okay, and now after switching to skin shade 4, it looks quite better. You can also go to material and change to click on modifiers and change its settings and switch it to any of the settings. Make it more diffuse or increase the specular as you want. If you want the ambient low, you can make it dark, you can make it like a dark, and or you could just increase the ambient and make it more brighter. Okay, now I have chosen the darkest values of each colors. Okay, now what I will do is how I approach the painting is that I usually use paintbrush. Okay, and paintbrush is like the standard brush having RGB selected. You can go to any of the brushes and disable the Z add or Z sub and hit RGB, but there is a paintbrush specially for that, and I have made a shortcut here. Click on this paintbrush and choose a brighter value of the red. Okay, click and drag and brighter value of the red, and click set color. Now we have filled all the subtools. Now we just need to paint it. Now with your mouse you can just paint it, the body, but I usually switch to lower resolution because it is quicker that way. Now I will just paint the slightly paint the body with the lighter values. Okay, we will hit the dark values again and just paint it with the lighter values. Okay, here are the lighter values, and just hit it with the lighter values. Okay, now I will switch it to the pink color. I won't be using the Z color because I'm picking the color from here, the ZBrush itself. Now I will fill it with the scales, more like a purple. Okay, more like a purple. Remember, this is not the final color. I'm just filling it out for the purpose of to understand the model more better. Okay, if you have colors in your model, it is better for you to see what is going on. This is why I'm just want to add colors really quickly. Okay, and here it is the purple too. Let's see. Okay, I will switch it to the eye. Okay, and pick the color and go to white, the more white, and slightly add a white tint to it. Okay, now this looks way brighter Okay, for my taste I will switch it to the more less saturated one, and I will hit it like, sorry, switch it to the body and just hit it like this. Okay, I can just go around and choose any colors, and now here it is purple, here it is purple, and I will switch it to purple and just block out the colors. You won't have to, don't have to go crazy with the colors, just block out the primary colors. Okay, the tongue needs a more work around here, and here it is more the details and etc etc. The purple here needs more work. Okay, I am blocking out the, just blocking out the primary colors. Okay, just primary colors. I won't be uh, go to this side because we will be rendering in this direction. Okay, now here it is more like a yellowish off-white color. I click and drag and choose this color, the yellowish off-white color, and set color, and just fill the body beneath with this yellowish white color. Okay, now after blocking out the primary colors, we can judge our model more accurately, that how it is looking. Okay, I will choose the purple one here and just fill it out this part, and I will decide to choose this with the yellow too. Okay, this is not the final paint. Okay, we can just go around and change it any time. Maybe no, I will switch it to the red. Okay, here it is a very dark color, so what I will do is, having this red selected, I will hit space bar and go to the darker side. Okay, and just fill it. Okay, now I will choose by placing C, and I will just, now I will switch it to tongue, and select this more brighter one. Okay, this brighter one, and not this but this. Okay, and set color, and I will just try to select done and fill it here. Okay, and I will choose again the more brighter one like this, and here it is a slight narrow path of the brighter values. Okay, now I will do this same. Do it like that it blends, never do it like that it is artificially. Okay, blend it with it. Now I need more white. I will hit space bar and just switch it to the white and just slightly hint it that it is white. Okay, now suddenly after adding multiple values, my sculpt is looking like more in a place. It is not perfectly completed yet because I need to add the details more, but it is start. Okay, now I'm able to understand what will be the final result of this, uh, what will be the final result of this sculpt. Okay, now that I have added the primary colors, I will begin adding details from here, and now I will be able to sculpt more better because I have added the primary colors on it, and it really helps to add the colors on the earlier stage of your sculpt. Always remember that adding the earlier stage adding the colors on the earlier stages of your work, or your uh, skull, or your sculpt or any model really help you understand what you're going through and what will be the outcome, how your work will look like, how your skull, how your model will look like. Sorry. Okay, I will just try to blend here a little bit, and it needs a really a lot of work. Okay, so now I will be adding additional details on it because we have added the primary colors, and I will be adding the multiple details on it. And now I'm gonna be playing with the proportions of this skull. By looking at it, this skull still looks boring because we have added the colors on it and it doesn't look like the concept. First of all, we have to make it scary. The easiest part is to use the move brush and just move this cheek up. Now it's look like it is screaming. Okay, now the skull is quite wrong. This will have to be a little bit inside this part, and this part needs to be, I will turn on the symmetry. I will push this part in and use the move brush on the jaw and move this part out. As you can see, by using the simple tricks of move brush, we have a T-Rex looking like a looking a bit like our concept. Okay, now what I will do is this is my maximum subdivision at this stage, which is subdivision 4. I will hit Ctrl D to give it a new subdivision level, which is multiply by 4, which is 1.5 million. Now I will be start adding the secondary details more deeply because, as I said, squeeze out your earlier subdivision level, squeeze out everything in your earlier subdivision level, then jump into details. So what I will be doing is I will be adding more clay to this part and smooth it out, and just use the more control this time, and just I'll be adding the strokes. Okay, and here it is quite divided with the skin. Okay, I will try to match it a bit like a reference picture. Okay, and here it is. I will again go to lowest subdivision level and use the move brush quite a bit like this. And as you can see, first of all, I pushed it in, but again I have seen this, whatever looks good. Okay, the whenever it starts to look good, you can pass it on and move along. Okay, now I have marked here the things which is it will be purple, so I will switch to purple color and just fill it out with purple. Okay, now here it is purple too, and I'll be adding more strokes into it. Go to higher subdivision level and just fill it out with the clay so it looks like a damaged scar or something. As you can see, after adding colors in the earlier stage, I now have an idea what will be the result, what will be outcome look like. Okay, I will add a little bit darkest color surrounding its parts. Okay, use the paintbrush and just it is not look like a darkest part. Okay, We will go into more detailing in terms of poly painting. Now here the neck should be on the inner side. I'll push it around like this, and I think I will push around this jawbone like this. Okay, now let's see. Yes, it is looking a bit more like the concept. I will switch it to more. This is a new bug in ZBrush 2022, and this stroke thing just messes up. Okay, I have upgraded my software to ZBrush 22, and this is the new bug. Whenever I switch to new brush, it happens most of the time. Okay, now here I have start adding the secondary forms. Okay, here it looks like a bits of bit love. It needs a bit of love. Okay, here I will be adding more clays, smooth it out, add more clays, and make it look like a separate piece. Okay, here I will switch it to paintbrush. Sometimes it's hard to talk and sculpt at the same time, but I always try. Let's see if I add this to a off-white color, yellowish off-white color, how it looks like. Okay, here it needs a little bit of hanging geometry. I'll switch it to lower subdivision level and just try to give it a more skin like. Okay, now I will add more details here. If I push this jaw quite in, let's see how it looks like. Yes, it looks like now the shape of the eyes is quite different. As you can see here, it is different, and what I made is different, and by pushing the skin up, I have messed it up the eye shape. Let's see how we can fix it. Use the move brush, and just whenever some big shape don't work out, use move brush. Don't hesitate to use move brush. Move brush is your bestest friend in ZBrush. Okay, now here in the higher subdivision level we will add, see this is a bug in ZBrush 2022 at the moment, and they need to fix it. Okay, the colors here is quite, I think, need to be changed. I will add the Z color and switch it to the darkest color, set it, and start adding the darker backgrounds. Here, okay, this is important because, well, I think I will choose the hair color and quite a bit go down like darkest here like this. Usually I go from dark to light, but in this case I have added the lightest color first because we needed to sculpt it. Okay, now the scales are small in the concept and the in our sculpt. it is quite bigger. So what we will do is we'll go to the smallest lowest subdivision level and use the move brush to make it smaller, because we don't want to change our concept too much. And here it is. If we go to, I will use move brush to make it. Okay, don't be shy to change your original sculpt, and it doesn't need to be exactly copy of your reference. Okay, you need to add your own creativity on it. That is why I didn't copy the exact concept, because I knew I would have to later change it. Okay, here it needs a more darker color like this in these cheeks. Okay, so this video was about the polypaint, and I have went on and added some additional details on our model, which would be the next video. Topic of the next video would be the final details, or you can see the tertiary details, okay, or final touches. And here I went and starting the marking the final details. Okay, and here I think here I need to, if I use the move brush here, no, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Okay, so here it is, folks. This video was about the poly painting, and I went on and block out the additional colors in our sculpt. And the reason of behind this earliest poly painting is that we could understand our work more efficiently and work accordingly. Most of the professionals block out their colors in early stages so they could read their work more properly, and it helps them understand where are they going and what will be the final outcome. So I will wrap up this video here. If you like the video, subscribe and share with your friends, and I will meet you in the next video. Take care.